Okay, on this video I'll start by creating a Spring Boot application from the Spring Boot initializer. So basically I don't need any additional dependencies, so I'll just generate a project. Okay, the project has been downloaded, and then I have opened it in IntelliJ IDE. So you can use any other IDE you wish to have. So the first thing we need to add is the driver dependencies over here. So for that, we'll go back to the faunadb, then driver link. Over here there are multiple options since we are using a Java project, so we will stick to that. So this is the dependency we are looking for. I'll copy this and put it into my project. Okay, then I'll just build it to make sure that the dependency has been pulled. So the next thing will be to initialize the client. Okay, for that I will create a config So I will have this included here in my class, and then return instead. This will be a bean. Okay, I'm not very clear on what is the endpoint, so I'm just gonna leave that out. But this one, the key secret, which is from the faunadb itself, so we have to generate it from faunadb. So I'll just go to the client, the faunadb dashboard, and then start generating it. Okay, we go to the database and then security, and we'll create a key. It's an admin key. All right, demo. So we'll copy this one, go back to our project, so I'll put it here. Okay, that's the only thing I need to do for the config. Okay, the next thing I need to do is I'll create a model. The model will be the class which will be holding the objects from faunadb. So I'll call it basically the model class. I'll just use whatever I have in my project, which I have put it into GitLab. So this is the model class name, then content of it is basically this one. Copy. So basically it has 4 instance variable. So this instance variable will be responsible to hold the values from the collection, document collection. Okay, this one ID, and then environment ID, address, and directory. Okay, so next will be we will need to create a repository. So I also have the codes available. So this is the repository which will be interacting with the models which we fetch from faunadb. Okay, so I'll copy the content from my GitLab project to make it faster. Okay, okay, I fixed all the imports. So there are two methods over here. One is get all deployment and get by ID, and I am injecting the client into this class in the constructor. So basically we are fetching all deployment based on a index. So as you can see, this is the syntax for getting data from the index, and we will be constructing our object which have ID, environment, directory, IP address as instance variable. So once we create those objects from whatever we receive from the index, we will be casting them into a collection of deployment model. So deployment model as the necessary instance variables to handle all the values from there. So that's on get all deployment, and the other method is supposed to get deployment by a single ID, given ID. So the ID will be passed as a parameter, and then with whatever we receive from the ID, this one could also throw exceptions, but we are assuming the happy case scenario where it always returns something valid. Okay, so the same object construction happens over here also. So we will construct whatever written by faunadb, and then later cast it into deployment. So in order to generate this one, I basically tried it using FQL. So I will also attach those FQL over here for this for the project. Get all. So what how do we verify is we need to run it in the shell of the faunadb, the FQL statements. So I have already created in my previous project, which is in GitLab. So I will just try it to make sure that it works. Okay, this is the FQL to get all. I'll copy this and execute in the shell. Okay, basically this returns 5 records, and the records has been constructed according to the format I wanted. So we have converted this into this functional class method using the methods provided by the driver. So I'll just paste that over here as a reference. Okay, and the next one is this one also similar. I already have a script available. So I'll run this as well in the shell. Okay, something went wrong. So the ID is probably wrong. So I'll go back and then get a valid ID. So as you can see, it returns a document. Okay, so basically the repository is ready. So what we will do next is we will try to create a unit test and then run the get all and then get by ID method. All right. This is a valid ID. I will just reuse it. Okay, let's test this the class. So this is the result of get by ID, and this is the result of get all. Okay, that's all on this video on how to create a Spring Boot application as a client for faunadb. Thank you.